In the shadows of Lake Huron's unforgiving waters lies Chantry Island. For nearly half a century, one family stood watch here, facing storms, shipwrecks, and personal loss. And at the heart of the story is Captain William McGregor Lambert, a man whose quiet heroism saved countless lives amid the storms. And today, we're going to retrace his footsteps and learn about his life and the lives that he saved. So here we are at the Southampton Cemetery. Here we're going to be looking for a few graves. We're going to be looking for Captain Lambert's grave, his brothers, his fathers, and a few of his wives. And when we find them, we'll discuss their roles in his life and in this story. And here's Captain Lambert's grave. You can see at the top, he's got an anchor for all his journeys at sea. Got his wives in there as well, at least two of them. And around the side here tells a story of his life, how he was a lighthouse keeper for 27 years, was awarded a gold watch in 1906, and the Service of Order Medal for his faithful to the Dominion of Canada. Born September 20th, 1844, in Goderich Township, William McGregor Lambert grew up in a world defined by water. His father, Duncan McGregor Lambert, a Scottish immigrant born around 1810 in Quebec, became Chantry Island first keeper in 1858. Duncan was a former sailor and was appointed lighthouse keeper with an annual salary of $435. He moved his wife and children from their home in Southampton over to the island. For the first few years, the family lived there year-round. Of their 11 children, only one, the youngest, Catherine, was born on the island. But it wasn't an easy life. Imagine raising a family on an island with no peers, and in one occasion, the family was storm-bound for 6 days without supplies. Fortunately, the storm relaxed and the family still had 1 day's provision left. William here was the second son, and at age 15, he joined his father in learning the rhythm of the beacon that guided the ships through Shipwreck Alley. William was married 3 times. His first wife, Janet, died at age 36. His second wife, Elizabeth, she died at age 42. And his third wife was a widower, aged 63 at the time of their marriage, died at 80 years old in Port Hope. His wife Elizabeth and their 2 daughters, Ellen and Grace, are said to have been expert seawomen who helped in various rescues. The Lamberts here tenured totaled 49 years. Duncan, his father, was in charge for 22, and William himself ran the lighthouse for 27 years. Here in the cemetery, I was able to find his third wife, Mary Malcolm Cook Lambert. She was a widower at age 63 and died at age 80 in Port Elgin's nursing home. Lake Huron claimed thousands of vessels in the 19th century, and William was often the last line of defense. His rescues numbered over 20 personally and assisted in 50 more. On September 1st, 1906, the ship named the Cavalier wrecked near the island. Captain John Glass and 4 seamen and 1 female cook were at the mercy of the sea. Captain Lambert saw the wreck and launched his small boat in heavy seas, and within an hour, Lambert had transported everyone safely to the island, an act for which he would later receive a Medal of Bravery from the Royal Canadian Humane Association. The paper says he rescued 9 people from a Chicago vessel. It says that a tall cook caught him in a death grip, but fortunately, he was able to pull the man ashore, though he was said to be exhausted when he got there. Though, unfortunately, there were some family tragedies in Captain Lambert's life. He lost one of his brothers when the ship he was on sank and all hands were lost near Chicago. Another tragedy in Captain Lambert's life was on September 4th, 1879. The scow, which is a type of sailboat, named Mary and Lucy, struck a reef, and another boat lying safely in the harbor, the steamer Quebec, witnessed the accident and also lowered a boat to help those stranded. His brother, Duncan Ross Lambert, saw a boatload of rescuers heading out and volunteered to join them. The paper says that Duncan Ross never learned how to swim, though it said his father, the original lighthouse keeper, never learned to swim either. So Duncan fastened a line around his shoulders, but it says his companions chaffed at him and told him the boat was safe, so he threw the line off. Though it says only a little later the boat went over and Duncan Ross tried to hold on to a couple oars, but it wasn't working and unfortunately he was lost. All while that was going on, Captain Lambert and 6 other men made it to the scow. They formed a chain and Captain Lambert was the furthest one out. He was just able to catch the hand of one of the crew, who was said to be black in the face, but he held on for dear life. And those on the shore held on to the captain. It was only when he made it back to the shore that Captain Lambert learned that his brother was not among them. And it was 9 days before the body washed up on shore and was recovered, though he never stopped trying to help those in trouble. And here's the grave of his brother, Duncan Ross, the one that unfortunately drowned in the rescue attempt. And it says here that he also had a son that died at 11 years. Another story is when 2 men left Kincardine in a tug, intending to make it to the Southampton harbor, but the tug got stuck in ice and was squeezed up. It is said to have been up 20 or 30 feet in the air. The captain and engineer tried to come ashore on the ice, but fell in several holes and had to give up. They had no food and were dying in the cold. Captain Lambert, along with his wife Elizabeth and their 2 daughters, Ellen and Grace, dragged a boat to the end of the island and managed to reach the men. The next day, the 3 of them went back to the tug and freed the boat from the ice and were able to safely get it back into the harbor. August 31st, 1892. The Nettie Woodward capsized in a gale, her crew clinging to the mast for 10 hours. The crew consisted of 5 people: the captain, J. Cladwell, John Bullock, and William Breckenridge. 3 of them were bravely rescued by Captain Lambert, and he received a gold watch from the government for saving the crew members. Though sadly, 2 died that day. First mate Joseph Greathead floated toward shore on a hatch and was found dead early next morning, and Nelson Mahan died in the captain's arms from exposure. They were both Southampton locals. When he retired in 1907, he was awarded his medal for faithful service at a meeting with the mayor and the town council of Southampton. The paper says that they sang, "He is a jolly good fellow," and gave 3 rousing cheers to the king. The only picture I could find of his watch is this one here that I showed earlier. You can make it out in his hand, and he is wearing his medal for courage in the rescue of Captain Glass and the crew. But beyond the lighthouse, William was a family man. His daughters were expert seamen, and Ellen moved to Toronto, marrying James Edward in 1899. She died September 4th, 1949, at age 76, 2 years after they celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary and is buried in the Mount Pleasant Cemetery back in Toronto. His sister, Louisa, painted rescue scenes, and he ended up farming in Lakeview in the Saugeen Township. He built a heritage home in Southampton, hosting visitors and showing them his various relics he was able to acquire over the years. And if you like this short video about a man who etched his legacy in Bruce County's lore, well, stick around because we have many more videos to come just like this one.